The story of the murder of a postal worker shot while delivering mail.
Tonight, we are learning new information about a postal worker who was shot and killed earlier this week.
The shocking death of Octavia Redmond, a U.S. Postal Service worker, has left the city of Chicago in disbelief. On July 19, 2024, in broad daylight, Redmond was fatally shot while carrying out her daily duties delivering mail in the West Pullman neighborhood. The incident occurred near 121st and South Harvard Avenue at approximately 11:38 a.m. The nature of the crime, combined with the absence of clear answers, has left investigators and the community grappling with difficult questions. Could this have been a random act of violence, a mere result of being in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was there a deeper, more personal motive behind the killing of a woman known for her kindness and dedication to her job? Welcome to Urban Crime Stories. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on all notifications for upcoming episodes. Octavia was born and raised in Chicago and had been a dedicated letter carrier for 5 years before her tragic death. She spent the last 15 years of her life working for the U.S. Postal Service, becoming a familiar and beloved face in the West Pullman neighborhood. To those on her route, she was more than just someone who delivered mail. She was friendly, one with a reassuring presence, and someone people could rely on day in and day out. Known for her infectious smile and warm personality, Octavia brightened the lives of countless residents, greeting them by name and always going the extra mile to make personal connections. Her commitment to her job was unwavering. In rain or shine, she could be seen making her rounds, delivering more than just letters and packages. She delivered a sense of community. Neighbors described her as the mother of the neighborhood, a person who knew everyone and treated each person with kindness and respect. Even on her final day, July 19, 2024, she was doing what she had always done, which was bringing mail to the people who trusted and cared for her. No one could have imagined that this routine task would be her last. It was the morning of July 19, 2024, and it seemed like any other day for Octavia as she began her workday. It was a Friday, and by 11:38 a.m., she had already made her way through much of her mail route in the West Pullman neighborhood of Chicago's South Side. The weather was mild, and residents were going about their daily routines, which included some heading to work, while the others tending to chores. As always, Octavia moved efficiently from house to house, delivering letters and packages, and smiling at familiar faces along the way. At around 11:38 a.m., Octavia was in front of a home on South Harvard Avenue, her bag of mail in hand, when a white Dodge Durango pulled up beside her. A masked man exited the vehicle armed with a gun. Without warning, the assailant fired multiple rounds, striking Octavia in broad daylight. Witnesses recall hearing as many as 8 shots echo through the street. The attack was swift and brutal. In the moments following the shooting, Octavia collapsed on the sidewalk, mortally wounded. Neighbors, who were already shocked, immediately called for help. She was rushed to Advocate Christ Medical Center, where doctors fought to save her life, but the injuries were too severe. By the time she arrived, it was too late, and Octavia, the beloved postal worker, was pronounced dead shortly thereafter. The neighborhood was left in disbelief. How could something so violent happen to someone so cherished?
Enough is enough! Enough is enough!
Some letter carriers in Chicago say they wonder if they could be next after one of their own was killed on Friday.
How is this possible that people can walk up or drive up and shoot a woman that was clearly identified as a mail carrier in broad daylight, and you expect us to continue with business as usual?
The randomness of the attack left many fearing for their own safety, as it seemed inconceivable that such a brutal crime could occur in the middle of the day, with no warning and no apparent reason. Despite the swift response from law enforcement, the investigation into Octavia's death remains frustratingly open-ended. Immediately after the shooting, the masked assailant fled the scene, disappearing into the streets of Chicago. The Dodge Durango, now a critical piece of evidence, vanished along with the assailant. Despite the broad daylight attack, the gunman managed to escape without immediate capture. The following day, investigators found the burned remains of the Dodge Durango on the city's south side, just miles from the crime scene. The vehicle, believed to be the same one used in the shooting, had been intentionally set on fire, likely in an effort to destroy evidence. While its discovery provided a lead, no suspects have been officially identified, and no arrests have been made.
Tonight, we are learning new information about a postal worker who was shot and killed earlier this week. Now, you're looking at video of what appears to be a burned-out white Dodge Durango spotted on the south side. Chicago police are investigating whether this is the vehicle they've been looking for in connection to the shooting death of Octavia Redmond.
Authorities are exploring multiple angles, including the possibility that Octavia may have been targeted. However, with no clear motive and the shooter still at large, the case has left investigators searching for leads. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service, along with the Chicago Police Department, continues to actively pursue the case, offering a $250,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of Octavia's killer. Postal workers across the country have expressed their support, calling for justice not only for Octavia, but for the safety of all postal workers who perform essential services in communities like hers every day. A local resident of the West Pullman neighborhood expressed the heartbreak felt by many. "My heart is shattered because she was a nice lady. She just came up and down the block and delivered the mail. Didn't bother nobody." A pastor at nearby West Pullman Church of God spoke about the shooting during his Sunday sermon. "In our neighborhood, a young lady by the name of Octavia Redmond's life was taken from her," the pastor told the congregation. "She was a young African-American woman, and regardless of color or creed, it was wrong. Our neighborhoods need God." The pastor said that the church is brainstorming ways to help Octavia's family further. Octavia's killing comes as postal workers grapple with crime and violence on their daily routes. In 2023, 57 Chicago postal workers were robbed, and robberies of U.S. Postal Service employees nearly doubled over the previous year. In June 2024, a Chicago mail carrier was robbed at gunpoint in the 5000 block of South Evans Avenue and Grand Boulevard, and the incident was caught on camera. A few weeks earlier, a postal worker was robbed by 3 people in the 500 block of North Pine Avenue in Austin. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service is offering $150,000 rewards in both incidents. In the aftermath of her death, emotional tributes poured in from those who knew and loved Octavia. A GoFundMe campaign, set up by her family to help cover funeral expenses and cope with the sudden loss, quickly gained traction. The Redmond family referred to her as their queen, a term of endearment that reflected her importance not only to her family, but to everyone who knew her. The outpouring of support on social media and through donations reflected just how deeply Redmond's life had touched others. Messages of love, grief, and frustration filled the GoFundMe page, with friends, neighbors, and even strangers contributing to the campaign as a way to honor her memory. As of late July, the fundraiser had surpassed its goal, thus testifying to the far-reaching impact she had on her community. For her family, they've expressed hope that the reward offered by the U.S. Postal Inspection Service will help bring forward information that leads to an arrest. Yet as days turn into weeks, the search for answers remains agonizingly slow. As the investigation moves forward, the question remains: who would commit such a heinous crime, and why? For now, the Redmond family and the West Pullman neighborhood can only wait and hope that justice will soon be served. Until then, they honor her memory by remembering the joy she brought to their lives and the legacy she leaves behind. Update. On October 1st, 2024, a 15-year-old boy has been charged with the murder of Octavia Redmond. The teenager was arrested in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, following a joint investigation by the Chicago Police Department and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service.
Our top local story this afternoon: a 15-year-old boy is charged with shooting and killing a mail carrier.
Prosecutors say the teen later returned to the crime scene.
The 15-year-old faces 1 count of first-degree murder and has been extradited back to Chicago. Thank you for watching this episode. Please share your thoughts about this story in the comments down below. Remember, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on all notifications for upcoming episodes. Your support is greatly appreciated. Until next time, I will see you with another episode of Urban Crime Stories.